Hey, do you like Magic the Gathering? Myself as well loves Magic the Gathering. Well, I have the podcast for you. How about you join us at Cardboard Cave MTG Podcast? We are in all social media and audio platforms that you can enjoy. You can join us as well when we go live every Wednesday at 9. Like that, you can join us, comment below, and we can go ahead and have that conversation together. Plus, after that, we have Commander games and arena content coming your way. So if you love Magic the Gathering as well as we do, just go ahead, look us up as Cardboard Cave Podcasts. Hey, do you like Magic the Gathering?
Good night, good morning, and good afternoon to all our listeners. This is the Cardboard Cave Podcast. I will be your host, JP. I am joined by my co-host, Chris.
What's up, my dudes? How's it going, JP?
Everything's going well. You sound a bit low, but other than that,
Probably just gotta play with my microphone a little bit.
There you go. So, I have a few topics today. It's mostly like one big topic that divides itself in two, and then spoilers. Because if I'm not mistaken, we haven't covered these spoilers. They came out last week or so, or a week and a half ago, and we had our commander night, so we didn't really cover anything. So we have Phyrexia, all will be one. Additional little tidbits. They moved the pre-release and thus the actual release on February to the February 3rd because they've been here. They actually decided to hear feedback and they're like, maybe we should slow things down, and decided to move everything a week. It's not much, but it's something.
What kind of improvements do you think that are gonna come with that? I guess because I can't really think of much.
There's not many improvements that will be coming. Like as we've said previously, these things are already kind of set in stone for the next year or so. This feedback, we'll see what happens in like a year. So 2024, we're almost in 2023 already. We've got this show and one more show before we end the year. So, let's see. Let's start with this little tidbit with NFTs, trading cards, $99, very similar to the $1,000. So, Donald Trump came up with these, like he released these NFT trading cards that are like his cards, and they were worth around $99 per pack or per card.
No, it's just like the one digital image. It's essentially it's for all intents and purposes an NFT, but they're calling it like a trading card. I don't know how that works in their mind, right? But yeah, it's like a little picture of Trump that definitely was put on there with some AI and
the art is horrendous.
Art. I haven't seen a lot of it, to be honest.
Don't you have the link to pop up?
I did, but it did a thing.
I've seen the art is horrendous. It's Photoshop. So he contracted someone for $60 to make Photoshop, and it's hilarious. If I'm not mistaken, there's one him riding a bear or as an eagle. There's one as if he were Superman.
Yeah, actually looking for. I'm looking for the pictures, and now I just don't have them.
Well,
Second.
while he looks for that, this whole thing is very like reminiscent of the Magic the Gathering 30th anniversary little fiasco. Uh, Selling $1,000 packs, like sets, four cards, like 4 packs for $1,000, with the possibility of getting cards that are actually worth something, which is again mind-boggling that they are still worth something, even though they're basically glorified proxies. They are proxies. That's what they are. This is very similar to that. You are getting like the possibility of money, but just going through through all the articles, this already set like 60% down in terms of like the revenue. You paid $99 and then you lose 70% of that anyway. You lose 30% of that, or was it 70% of that? It, it's already going down the shithole.
I actually haven't looked at that recently.
Yes.
I do find it kind of funny. I guess funny is like a word to use. Of how like they initially with the 30th anniversary product, they just try to be like, oh yeah, like it's sold out or whatever, and then I just kind of find it funny how in comparison like Trump's NFT just like sold out, and it's basically the same concept. It's just like another thing you can't use that is really worth. Like, is it really worth money? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same deal, and it's like it's something you can't really like use for anything. Say like it's just as egregious as the Magic 30th anniversary, and I'm
I
somehow
think it's
not surprised that it sold the way it did.
exactly. I think it's smart.
Yeah,
You gotta abuse the cattle.
yeah, no, straight up.
You see, you understand. Some people just buy into anything if your fan base is loyal enough. Which also applies to Magic the Gathering. It's not like we're
Mhm.
exempt from that. People have been, recently, uh, you know, they've been protesting with their wallet a bit more. But for the most part, if you don't protest with your wallet, it's not gonna be an actual change. Yep,
Found an article over here that has some of the beautiful showcased
that
art.
looks so photoshopped.
Oh man.
It's like he has like 3 poses, and then you just put put art on top of it.
And it looks like it was done with iPhone art, and then just kind of, like with some kind of iPhone app, and then he just like that's
He's
what he
like
sold at
there's a
$99
there's a
NFT.
background, and then he's just stapled on top.
Yep, straight up.
And not
Easiest
even
Photoshop
seamlessly.
job I've ever
Hey,
seen.
see that golf one actually seems decent. That's
The
probably
art's probably stolen anyway.
yes, that's probably stolen anyways. Which another thing, the art, there's a lot of plagiarism with these things.
With like AI art in general, you mean, or with these,
No,
or
the
with this one?
art, the art, the AI art has a lot of plagiarism because it uses references from actual artists, and currently there have been a lot of artists that have claimed, "Hey, this is my art. It's just one-to-one my art," and the AI is using it.
Yeah.
But like these AI generated arts for Trump, some of them are actually just plagiarized from other direct things.
Wow. Oh
So
man.
this is just kind of funny, honestly, that this came out a few weeks after the Magic 30th anniversary.
Yep.
But if you really want to see Magic 30th anniversary or the equivalent of done right, you gotta see the Yu-Gi-Oh one.
Yep.
So Yu-Gi-Oh just came out with their 25th anniversary, and they have the Legendary Collection 25th anniversary collection. It's a collector set.
Mhm.
It is tournament legal because all the cards are already legal, and it's $31.99 per set.
Yep. 30th anniversary, $30. I
Per
don't know, man.
pack,
That sounds
per pack, if I'm not mistaken,
ridiculous.
it's $4.49 or something like that.
It's
Per
it's supposed
pack.
to be like 6 booster packs, right?
I'm not entirely sure, but
Pull
the
it up in a second.
Legendary Collection 25th Anniversary Edition contains one pack of Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, one pack of Metal Raiders, one pack of Spell Ruler, one pack of Pharaoh's Servant, one pack of Dark Crisis, one pack of Invasion of Chaos, one ultra rare Obelisk the Tormentor card, one ultra rare Slifer the Sky Dragon card, one ultra rare The Winged Dragon of Ra card, one ultra rare Blue Eyes White Dragon, one ultra rare Dark Magician card, and one ultra rare Red Eyes Black Dragon card, with 1/4 century secret rare version of one of the 6 aforementioned cards. One thing that would have been cool, and I play Yu-Gi-Oh very 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 casually, which is very odd to say. Uh, Bringing back Ghost Rares. Ghost Rares would have been nice, because even though Ghost Rares were barely legible, they were very. They're just they don't do them anymore. So bringing back an old foiling system that you just don't do at all anymore would have been cool.
Hmm.
Would
I
have
see what you
added
mean.
would have added to the collectability of this set without changing the contents or changing the quality of what you get. It's just an addition. So instead of it was like a 1/4 century secret rare, you could have gotten an additional one ghost rare.
Yo, imagine
Imagine
getting
Obelisk the
imagine
Tormentor
getting.
ghost rare. Ooh.
Oh no, man! I'm thinking Pot of Greed Ghost Rare, bro. Like, let's
The
go.
Winged Dragon of Ra, or the Blue Eyes Ghost Rare. That sounds amazing. If you do not know what Ghost Rare cards look like, I just looked for Ghost Rares,
Let me just look it up.
and they look like faded. It's like if the art were black and white, but it's more faded than black and white. Yes.
Try to get a bigger image of this. Oh god. Oh look at that. It's $200. We would have gotten some of
That
that.
would have been
That
cool.
would have been great. Mhm. But I still think like at least this is like a viable product. You know what I mean?
Again, let's compare the $32 tournament legal, because these cards are already legal. None of them are banned, but it probably banned Pot of Greed if it does appear through there. The cards that are already banned are gonna stay banned, but other than that, I'm pretty sure all the cards are legal.
Yeah.
I haven't checked because these are old school Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So I haven't
Mhm.
really checked what each set contains, because I really didn't start playing back then. So I don't know what Legend of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, Metal Raider, Spell Ruler, Pharaoh's Servant, and Invasion of Chaos and Dark Crisis. What do they contain within the cards? But it's mostly probably just old nostalgic cards,
Yeah.
and nothing that's actually like broken. I guess in a way you could see how Yu-Gi-Oh's power creep has been different from Magic's power creep. And at the beginning of Magic, spells were broken, non-creature spells. So you got the Moxen, you got your Black Lotus, Ancestral Recalls, Time Walks, your Time Twisters. Lightning Bolt is always going to be a strong card with Dark Ritual. There's going to be a lot of cheap, very strong cards. and now you see like very cheap, strong creatures. The difference being that you can interact with creatures a lot easier than you can interact with the non-creature stuff. That's why this change across the Magic's history has been, for the most part, for the better. Even though like cards like Ragavan kind of slip through, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, that's too strong.
Yeah. I mean, you
Um,
want to talk about Oko? Like, we'll go all the way back. We got that
yeah,
Eldraine set that's been spoiled. So not spoiled, but like that we know we're getting.
yeah. And then you look at Yu-Gi-Oh and their
Mhm.
power creep. How some old cards are kind of relevant, but not really. But like Blue Eyes, there's Blue Eyes is always going to be an archetype because they keep printing more
Support for it.
support for it. It's not the best archetype, but it still exists. It's there. Pretty sure there's a Dark Magician archetype, but again, it's not that good. I mean, it's decent for like casual like tier 2 play. Maybe tier 3. I don't know if even tier 3 even exists, but slowly the power creep has gone to such a point where these old cards aren't really that relevant for the metagame.
Yeah.
And because Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't really have a particular like standard, they don't have a rotation list. They don't have a rotating format. That
We just have a
means
ban list, which almost makes it that way. But
it's a pretty decently big ban list, but when you look at it, it makes sense.
yeah,
But their power creep is just keep on going up. They haven't been like Magic that started broken, slowed down, got
yeah,
broken again, slowed down, and now we're going again to the it's pretty broken already again.
yeah.
With
I
that
think we're getting
trend,
somewhere.
interestingly enough, you think Magic's gonna slow down? They have to.
They have
People have
to, and
to
I think it's going to
people
be
have been
really
clamoring for it.
difficult. Yeah, I think it's going to be a little difficult. Not necessarily, but I think it might be a bit difficult to like slow down in terms of like now you could just kind of stick like every concept you ever came up with into all the different like sets because you have to pump out like stuff really quickly. But if they slow down a bit, it also depends on how like the product slows down. I think is going to affect how the game is gonna slow down. I guess.
Well,
Um, hmm?
uh, the way I'm speaking of on slowing down is not just the amount of product. I'm speaking about power. Just because everything just keeps on going up in power, up in power, up in power, and you can have powerful cards without having them be power crept.
Yeah.
A lot of the examples I can give is unfortunately non-existent cards. A bunch of my friends, sorry, a bunch of our friends, uh, at one point started like messing around with making custom cards,
Yeah.
and you can make interesting mechanics without making it broken.
Mhm.
Because I remember I made a blue white sacrifice commander because at the moment there didn't
There was
exist
that
one,
one.
and I love that concept. And for the most part, it was pretty balanced, and you get new cards, new concepts without really power creeping or
Yeah.
going like over the edge. Uh, but yeah, I it's very interesting to see how these 25 years of Yu-Gi-Oh and 30 years of Magic all culminate together and form up the Trump NFT card trading cards.
Yep.
That's this is peak Magic, peak Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, it's Trump NFT trading cards.
Yeah. I
All
don't
we
know
need
what
to do
happened in
is add some
2012.
power and toughness, some ETB abilities, and I can, soon enough I'll be swinging at you with my own Donald Trump.
That's a go.
He makes wall tokens.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Alright.
So,
So,
next up we have the Phyrexia All Will Be One spoilers.
hold on for just a second. I got over here actually the art for the set. Let me see. So, this is going to be all the product that we're getting. So, including the box topper over here, which is going to be the Rat King. We're getting
That's the.
another Rat Commander.
Is that a box topper
If I'm not mistaken, yeah, it's a box topper.
No,
No.
no. I'm pretty sure that's the card that goes in the bundle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was a box topper this entire time. Okay, well that's really
No.
cool though. Okay. Huh.
I'm pretty sure that's the card that goes in the bundle. Funny thing about that card, as soon as it got revealed, a rat got bought out. Like an old rat that doesn't have that many printings got bought out,
Yeah.
and it doesn't even work with the commander. It's hilarious how people just
Huh.
rat, damage, go, and just bought it. So I forgot the name of the rat. I could probably look it up right now. It You pay mana to deal 1 damage, and if you have threshold, you can pay mana to deal 3 damage. And people probably read toxic as damage instead of like as if it were
Combat
infect,
damage.
but toxic is combat damage.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious how something got
Bought out by mistake
bought
essentially.
out by basically by mistake.
People just panicking without reading.
In infected vermin. Okay, it already crept down because the foils were at $20.
Jeez.
So infected vermin is a 2 and a black for a 1/1 rat. You can pay 2 and a black for and infected vermin deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. And threshold, you pay 3 and a black and it deals 3 damage to each creature and each player.
This little guy. That was not what I was looking for, but
That got bought out for some apparent reason, and it spiked up. It already spiked down, but the foils were like $20.
a $20 infected ribbon.
Yes.
Sounds beautiful though. Come on. Think about it. Yeah, so as usual, we're getting like draft boosters, set boosters. We're getting the collector's boosters.
A gift bundle and wait, what's that? We got a bundle and then the bundle
Exactly.
complete edition.
Exactly. I don't know the details on the bundle complete edition actually, but I'm assuming that the whole deal is that we're just getting like different art on all like getting guaranteed art cards, being essentially like a collector's version of
Or the lands that we'll cover right now.
Great. I don't have my lines up. I don't have my lines on here. Hold on. You know what? Let's just do this. Now, while I look for that though, like the complete edition over here. And now, while I look for the rest of the spoilers and like the stuff from the complete bundle, I do want to take a look at the Junji Ito art style showing up in the triggers that were spoiled. I don't know if you already got a chance to look at this one.
It's in the link.
Hmm?
I sent the link.
Oh, I was trying to. Because where's the other format of this?
We're using the magic spoiler.
All right, all right. So we just go from top to bottom, really.
There we go. From bottom to top, actually.
Bottom top.
Bottom to top. So the first thing is the set booster cards. These were the Street Fighter when Street Fighter
Secret
got its
Lair.
secret lair. These are their counterparts, their Magic the Gathering in universe counterparts. So we got Zethi, Arcane Blade Master, Marika, Brutal Gladiator, Tadeus, Juniper Ascendant, Emard the Stormcleaver, the Howling Abomination, Baldin, Century Herdmaster, Vikia, Scorching Stalwart, and Aisha of Sparks and Smoke. Each one of these are the Street Fighter counterparts. I basically only know that the Howling Abomination is Blanca.
Yeah. Over here, Zephy is Chun-Li.
Zethi is
And I think
Chun-Li, yes.
these two right here should be Ryu and Ken. Ken
Yeah.
and Ryu.
But I'm not sure about the others 100%.
I'm not sure about the others actually, but well, the thing is, it's good to see like Wizards kind of doing good with its work. Just putting like any secret lair exclusive cards into back into their Magic the Universe like Magic the Gathering universe counterparts. Though I definitely still do, like as always, like I still do prefer like the Godzilla treatment. Just give me like the card with like the little subtitle, which is what they've been doing for some of the more like recent.
For the most part, that would be the ideal version.
Mm-hmm. But honestly, I'm definitely not mad at these. Like I enjoy like the art that they come up for a lot of these. I feel like they have a little bit of freedom on there.
I'm kind of tempted to give one of these. If I get one, give it to a friend. The white one, Baldin.
Baldin.
Because I have a friend who's balding.
How dare you make fun of his insecurities, Jacob? How dare. So moving on, we were talking about the lands. That's the other thing.
The lands. So these lands might be coming exclusively in the complete bundle edition.
Yep.
That's what it looks like. And these lands are metal as fuck.
Yep. I love like the way they look in their Phyrexian text. Like Phyrexian text always looks awesome, but then you put it next to like the metal looking artwork, it just gives it like a runic vibe. It's just really, really cool. You can kind of see like each like some of the aspects of each of the Praetors like reflected on each of the arts, and I think that looks freaking amazing. I wonder if because I know Phyrexia is like divided into layers, so I wonder like if you just kind of like structure them, it'll give you like a horizontal picture. That'd be kind of cool.
And we got the basic lands without the full arts, and then the full arts,
which also look freaking.
Also, the full arts are panoramic.
Mm-hmm.
They are a panorama. They are all when the artist, pretty sure. On panorama. There we go. I'm gonna send you the link because the art it's beautiful to look at.
Oh yeah.
There you go. It's all one art.
And it looks friggin' incredible.
And when you look at the green, it spills into the black, but the black or the black spills into the green, which spills into the white, which spills into the and it just keeps on going.
Yeah.
I kind of wish the red would spill kinda into the black. That way, it's just a cycle. It's just a circle.
I mean, it kind
Our
of does up to a certain point. Like if you see like how it ends, like the darker tones on the left side of the art,
yeah.
so you can kind of compare it that way, and you see like towards the edges of it, it still has like the dark coloring from the smokestacks. So I think like if you really wanted to, it could definitely loop back together like easily.
Okay.
Going back to the spoilers.
So now we got these beautiful like ink blot style arts. There's just inked arts with Phyrexian foiling all around, just Phyrexian symbols, and they're
How much
all
how
really
much do you
cool.
think the Praetors in this will start to go at? Like in that art?
I'm pretty sure we're actually going to.
But how much do you think they will probably start at?
Because it's so many printings, depends on
Rarity?
yeah. But so the first card we got is Furnace Punisher. Tuna red for a creature Phyrexian warrior. He is a 3/3 menace. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, Furnace Punisher deals 2 damage to that player unless they control 2 or more basic lands. This is super strong. So I mentioned last time that we were discussing spoilers. This one card, I forgot its name right now. It's an enchantment for 1 red red. Players can't gain life, and it deals 2 damage each upkeep to
Mhm.
that player, to the player's upkeep. This is very similar to that. There
Yeah.
is a condition to be met, but for the most part, this doesn't hurt you if you're in mono red, which is where this would see play, and it would hurt another person at least on turn 3, usually depending on the mana bases.
Yeah.
This is very good.
Hmm.
Next card, Sawblade Scamp. A red, what's that? 1 red for a 1/1 creature Phyrexian beast. Haste. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put an oil counter on Sawblade Scamp, and you can tap to remove an oil counter from Sawblade Scamp and to deal 1 damage to each opponent.
That
This is
looks fun.
interesting.
It has the like the hoop of like the like having to cast non-creature spells, but doesn't this essentially just go like infinite with like I don't know Isochron?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
do.
it's just another Isochron win con.
Isochron Scepter infinite times. You're casting the non-creature spells. Because you're casting the copy, and the copy
Yeah.
is going to be Dramatic Reversal. This gets infinite counters, and every time you remove a counter. Yeah.
Yep. That's
Uh,
actually that's really nice. You get to combo off with a common. That's like I love this game.
Next, we got Sinew Dancer, a 1 white for a 1/1 creature Phyrexian soldier. You can pay 3 and a white to tap target creature, and 3 and a white, tap him, and then tap target creature. Or if you have the ability Corrupted, in this case, it's 1 white and tap him. Tap target creature, activate only if an opponent has 3 or more poison counters. We'll see a different way on getting poison counters with a. Actually, we already saw one of the cards. It is a new mechanic called Toxic. If the card has that Toxic 1, when it deals damage, no matter how much damage it does, you're gonna give it 1 poison counter. So if you didn't know, this mechanic already existed. It existed in one set, which is perfect where it should exist. It existed in Future Sight, except in Future Sight, its name was different. Instead of it being toxic, its name was poisonous. Because there's a sliver card that gives all your slivers
Poisonous
poisonous
one.
1, and it reads exactly to the T, like exactly as toxic. Toxic and poisonous is the same thing. There's only 2 cards in the entire game with toxic, with poisonous. The sliver card and a snake cult enchantment card that gives 3 like poisonous 3. Other than that, that mechanic just doesn't exist. The reason this is nice to see is because Future Sight was this supposed. For those who don't know, Future Sight was supposed to be this set where people like where the designers would kind of spoil a bit of what's to come in terms of ideas. Last time we saw something similar was in Kaldheim, if I'm not mistaken, where they used one of the old mechanics. I remember then in Amonkhet they used the actual first printing of Avon Mind Sensor,
Yeah.
because he just appears in the set normally. And this is another instance of that idea of old mechanics from Future Sight that have nowhere else to exist coming up in other sets that are newer. Next card, Quicksilver Fisher.
Real quick note. I enjoy the existence of Sunu Dancer and seeing like the corrupted mechanic being a thing. Especially because there's a lot of like mono white aggro right now, and there's also like the mono black aggro like archetype. So I'm just kind of wondering if this will like be a viable black white what's it called, like black white toxic deck, like toxic aggro. Well, it has to be aggro because it has to be combat damage, but you get the point.
It's an interesting idea, especially because the Rat King is going to be standard legal, and depending on how many rats are going to be, it could be a thing. You don't even need that many other rats. You could just have him, and when he enters, you look at the top cards of your library and get all the rats. So if you do that, you could just look through your deck and get the rats you need, filter through some cards.
Yeah.
So, Quicksilver Fisher, 3 blue, so 5 mana, for a 4/3 flyer, creature Phyrexian Drake. When Quicksilver Fisher enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. This is going to be premium card in draft. A 4/3 flyer for 5 that draws you that filters a card. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. So next up, we got another reprint.
That's a reprint, and it's interesting how the wording, because it's a creature Phyrexian bird horror now.
Yeah.
Thrumming Bird, 1 and a white, well, 1 and a blue for a 1/1. It's just 1 and a blue. For 2 mana, creature Phyrexian Bird horror, flying. Whenever Thrumming Bird deals combat damage to a player, proliferates. And that's a beautiful word to read, because that means the proliferate mechanic is coming back.
And that means you get to toxify stuff and then proliferate off of the bird. So multicolored aggro is like sounds fun. If blue has enough like ways to do toxic, maybe like a blue black kind of aggro-y deck, that'd be fun. Like proliferate and toxic. Because I think there's also like a draw card, I don't think it's a cantrip because it's not like 1 or 2 mana, but I think there's like a card that proliferates when you you draw a card and proliferate now. It's a blue card. I think it costs 4 or 3.
So
that came out in like a previous set. So seeing a reprint of that along with the Thrumming Bird could like be kind of exciting.
Next card is Mere Convert. 2 mana for a 2/1 artifact creature Phyrexian Mere. Toxic 1. And the ability is to tap him, pay 2 life, and add 1 mana of any color. I'm actually really excited for this card.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like it so much, but I understand it's because it's very reminiscent to So Paradise Druid, which was a 2-mana 2/1 with as it was hexproof as long as it was untapped,
Yeah.
but it could add any mana, and that saw a lot of play.
Mhm.
This is very similar.
Yeah. I actually
Uh,
enjoy like how like having Toxic One makes it like better for like any kind of like long games in which you're getting your stuff removed. Like he still is relevant like later into the game. You know what I mean? Instead of being like your average mana dork that just kind of gets wiped off the board and that's it for it. Yeah,
and we
some
got
art.
Meld Web Curator. That's just the art. It looks like this deep sea suit with a floating head. It's pretty creepy. Then we have
Crawling
the
forest, the crawling forest art. And if you're going like from right to left to left to right.
they literally look like Andros faces, like the assist trophy from Smash.
Yes.
It's like
Oh my. I didn't like realize that originally. What I do like though, it has an old Magic feel. Like this art, like you
yes,
stick this on old border and it just looks like an old card. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Like I
yeah,
really like that about it. I'm assuming this has something to do with like Elish Norn or something she's doing. It's like white and like fleshy with red and
white and red are yeah colors.
yeah,
Yeah,
like white and fleshy red. Yes,
so we
Phyrexian
get
glitter.
this reprint with Phyrexian Obliterator. Black, 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 black. So 4 mana for a 5/5 creature Phyrexian horror. Trample. Whenever a source deals damage to Phyrexian Obliterator, that source's controller sacrifices that many permanents.
Beautiful.
So either you destroy this, but if you deal damage to it, you're gonna suffer. Maybe bounce it as well.
It's just an insanely fun card, man. Like I feel like it's relevant wherever. You drop this thing on turn 3, and people are just gonna
Oh, you
flinch.
can drop it on turn 3 with Mirror Convert.
Exactly. That mono black aggro deck is sounding so viable right now.
Then we get a picture of the token. At first, when I read this, I was like, Phyrexian Mirror? A Phyrexian Mirror token? No, it's a Phyrexian Might. It's a token artifact creature. That's relevant.
Super relevant.
Phyrexian Might with Toxic 1, and it can't block. And it's a 1/1.
It's just made to do damage. This will be super fun. I'm assuming there's gonna be like some black cards that make the mites. It'd be interesting if they were white cards, because again, mono white aggro being a huge thing, like to hit standard. But yeah, speaking of mono white aggro being really cool, we got Elish Norn, Mother of Machines, comes down for 5 with 4/7 with Vigilance. It's a legendary creature Phyrexian Praetor. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes an ability to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Permanents entering the battlefield don't cause abilities of your opponents that are your opponent's control to trigger. So you got a combination of 2 cards on a 4/7 body with Vigilance for 5 mana.
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. So many people are like super hyped about this card, and people say, "Oh, it's so broken! Oh, it's so broken!" I don't see it.
I don't think the card is broken.
Wrong,
Exactly.
but it's not broken.
Mm-hmm.
What really kills me about this card is that 5 mana.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
mean,
5
you
mana.
definitely can't put a 4/7 body on anything less than 5 mana. I feel.
Oh, of course. But like, Sheoldred used to be a 6/6, and now they have her as a 4/5. Even though in lore she's supposed to be stronger. Like,
Yeah. She's like currently attached to like a freaking dragon engine, isn't she? So yeah. or like even worse, it's like a wormy dragon engine thing.
Isn't it?
like,
I'm pretty sure it's Phyrexian. It's a Phyrexian Dreadnought, like an old
oh,
one, the
oh, I
husk
see.
of one. Yeah.
I thought it was dragons, but that's even more insane.
The Phyrexian Dreadnought, for those who don't know, is a 1 mana one. It's a 1 mana 12/12. And
Oh, I remember it now.
yeah,
Yes.
it's a 1 mana 12/12, and you have to sacrifice creatures to keep it around. Otherwise, you have to sacrifice it immediately as soon as it enters.
There was
People
like a
just
few
kind of
combos with that, if I'm not
yeah.
mistaken.
You just either like cards like Elish Norn, Mother of Machines. Yeah, Phyrexian permanents entering the battlefield don't cause abilities of permanents your opponent's control to trigger. Okay, I play my Phyrexian Dreadnought, my 1 mana 12/12. Thank you. See, that's why
Tasty.
that's one of the reasons why I don't like her ability, because some ETBs are detrimental to you.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But I feel like at least in somewhere closer, I don't like her mana cost. The more I think about it, but like in somewhere like CDH, like this would be a little insane. There's very few like ETBs that you don't want to avoid in CDH. I feel if you could like
I feel like
reanimate an Elish Norn to be
honestly,
able
I
to
don't feel like
get
it
her cheap.
doesn't. It doesn't do enough in CDH at all.
Hmm. It's
Like,
still one card. Something that if you like reanimate early for cheap, like it'll definitely slow a few people down. People can't dockside. People like can't win with Oracle. So I don't. Again, it's really like it's the same thing like that's been established before. Like it's strong. It's just not like amazing.
yeah, but for 2 mana, you can just play a Torpor Orb, an artifact, so it's not easy. So it's not that easy to remove.
But I get additional triggers.
No.
I don't want to play out of like the Panharmonicon. Here's the part that I like about the effect a lot, and it's that Panharmonicon costs 4 mana and it's only for your creatures. This costs 5, and you get a Torpor Orb like top of it. That doesn't affect you, which I think is like super relevant. It's a unilateral Torpor Orb with a Panharmonicon attached to it.
Yeah.
The Panharmonicon aspect alone makes this card pretty darn good. That's all I'm like. That's all I'm saying.
Anyways, we have more the different art, like you mentioned, the Junji Ito style, and there's more art because the ink blot style art is also there's a different version of her. She has like 5 different versions.
Yeah.
Next card we have Venser Corpse Puppet. So Venser's dead.
Spencer been dead, but at some point, like there's literally like no lore on like what happened after like a certain point in his story, and it's just like yeah, at some point the Phyrexians recovered his body and just made him into a corpse puppet, and like there's zero explanation like aside from that.
That's fine.
So we got a Zenith cycle coming up, by the way.
Yes. So it's called the Twilight. Bella? So we got Blue Sun's Twilight. X blue sorcery. Gain control of target creature with mana value X or less. If X is 5 or more, create a token that's a copy of that creature. So you gain control of it and make a token if it's 5 or more.
So
that's pretty decent.
Yes, I enjoy it. Like being able to create a copy of something for like literally any. Not I'm sorry, like gain control and copy something. I don't know. That sounds like a lot more fun. Like, it sounds like a lot more fun than a lot of other like take control of cards that you see around. Because usually like their mana costs are really high or have a lot of like restrictions. Instead, this one is just like plussing you twice. So just 10 out of 10 for me.
Next, we got Slowbad Iron Goblin. 2 and a red for a 3/3 legendary creature, Phyrexian Goblin Artificer. You can tap to sacrifice an artifact and add an amount of mana equal to the sacrifice artifact's mana value. Spend this mana only to cast artifact or activate abilities of artifacts.
They made my boy Slow Bad just like a random worker. With disrespect.
Eh.
Why? What do you mean, eh? He's
I
the
like
saddest goblin.
I like Slowbad's lore, yeah, but I'm just kind of disappointed with what the card is.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I like before. What he used to do was he used to like sacrifice an artifact and give something indestructible, right? I can't remember. It was like another artifact or like a creature.
Yeah.
It was an artifact, right?
Yes.
I don't know. Like they could have literally done anything else, and on top of that, they made him like tap to sacrifice an artifact. Like, I don't know.
I mean, otherwise it would be too broken. I can assure you that.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Making him a stronger,
I would have loved like just a sacrifice, no tapping, and even if it doesn't make mana, do anything else. It's fine. But just I don't know. I would have preferred like something a little different. I don't enjoy having two costs on that. Like if you can just sacrifice it, better.
So the next card, Jorkadine First Gold Warden, red and a white, 2 mana for a legendary creature, human rebel 2/2 with trample. Whenever Jorkadine First Gold Warden attacks, it gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of equipped creatures you control. Then, if Jorkadine's power is 4 or greater, draw a card. This card is actually good.
Yep.
This is actually very good. And also, Rebels are back. So take the dust off your Lin civies. Hopefully, more mono white Rebels appear for that like very niche deck.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a very strong effect. All you need is to equip him and anything else, and you start drawing cards.
Yeah.
And for the most part, you probably should only want to equip 2 creatures. So you kind of keep a lot of the stuff in your hand and gain card advantage while having a 4/4 Trampler. He can get like commander damage pretty quickly and pump himself.
You can basically just equip him, like
because it's the number of equipped creatures.
Yeah, but if all you're really looking for is just a card draw at that point,
you just need him and another creature equipped.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. I forgot that if his power is just automatically like, let's say Skull Clamp. You attach Skull Clamp to him. His power is a 3/1, but then you attack with him, and he is the only creature with equipped, so he becomes a 4/3 Trampler, and you draw a card because his power is 4.
Yep.
So honestly, yeah, you're not wrong.
Okay, I was thinking something else, but yeah.
Okay. Next card.
I thought for some reason Skull Clamp is that +2+? No, yeah, +2 -1.
+1 -1, yeah. +1 -1, yeah.
Okay.
So we got Koth, Fire of Resistance. 2 red for a legendary planeswalker, Koth. +2, search your library for a basic mountain card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. -3, Koth Fire of Resistance deals damage to target creature equal to the number of mountains you control. And -7, you get an emblem with whenever a mountain enters the battlefield under your control, this emblem deals 4 damage to any target. This planeswalker is pretty bad. So
I just wish there was a quicker way to get that -7 because I like the effect a lot, but it's a -7 on a garbage planeswalker.
So the detail being for me is that it's a -3 instead of it being a -2, because damage equal to
Can't get 2
mountains
drops.
isn't really that impactful for a -3. If it were twice the number of mountains, that would be interesting for a -3 because it would actually be more decent on more consistent in dealing damage and killing whatever you need to kill.
Yeah. It would also be 8 damage for like 8 for 4 mana. But yeah,
But
it
it's
just
only
targets
to
creatures.
creatures.
That's the thing. That's the thing, though. Yeah, like it doesn't target anything else. So it's yeah.
We have a
Wait,
little.
remember what happened last time you gave red big damage removal? It also made it really fast. With what was it, like an Ammon cap where mono red was like freaking terrifying to play against?
Yeah,
Yes, we got
it's still not
those cards
terrifying to
over.
play against.
No, yeah, no. Back then it was. Right now it's just you just see like one red deck wins like everywhere. But it's like it's kind of easy to get around it in certain like if you like unless mono red gets like a god hand, then they're like super guaranteed to win. Like you have great chances against mono red usually.
So the next 3 cards are spoilers for the story, very big spoilers for what happens. We got 3 completed planeswalkers: Jace the Perfected Mind. I'm assuming it's 2 blue and a Phyrexian blue. Vraska's Betrayal Sting, which doesn't have a mana cost yet, at least not shown. And Nissa Ascended Animist. 3 green and 2 Phyrexian greens. You can't really read both of their abilities complete for Jason the Perfected Mind and Vraska's Betrayal Sting, but we can read Nissa Ascended Animist, which reads Legendary Planeswalker Nissa for 7 loyalty, has the ability of Completed. The completed ability is if you use your 2 life to activate to pay for this card, it enters with half as many loyalty counters. And I think it's half rounded up or rounded down. I'm not completely sure. Anyways, you pay a +1 and create an XX Green Phyrexian Horror creature token where X is Ascended Animus loyalty. -1, destroy target artifact or enchantment. And we can't really read. I'm assuming it's a -10. Because until end of turn, creatures you control get +1/+1 for each forest and gain and trample.
Yeah.
For each
Super
forest you control and
insane.
gain trample. So there's this theory. So because Jace, so of course it's Jace, and this theory is completely out of the blue, and if this is wrong, then fine, this is wrong. But it's not the first time Jace has messed with his own mind. In fact, Jace constantly does that. So the theory is that Jace, because Jace is Wizards of the Coast pretty boy, he's the face of the Gatewatch, right? Jace will mess with his mind and retain his like non-completed mind with a completed body.
I see.
And he will be like a sleeper agent from within.
He's a sleeping sleeper.
And that would be very flavorful considering Yawgmoth used sleeper agents during the first Phyrexian invasions.
I mean, they did in these ones too. So
So
it's
yeah,
been
exactly, because
flavorful.
Johnny was
Yeah.
a sleeper agent.
Yep, that hurt my soul. That
So
hurt my soul.
it would be very flavorful that Jace is a sleeper agent for the opposite side. For in this case, for the non-Phyrexian side.
Fighting fire with fire kind of deal.
But that brings up the detail that if this is true, then Jace just lets his girlfriend get completed and not
Yep.
and not save her, which is such a Jace thing to do. That's what convinced me.
That's what convinced
Because
you that it has to be.
because people were like, oh, how can they do this to their pretty boy? It's like, oh well, this is a theory. Why not
I
this?
mean, but I'm pretty sure they've like tried to establish since War of the Spark that the goal was to essentially build a new Gatewatch. Like I'm pretty sure it's time for Jace to go, and I'm pretty sure that's what they've like been hinting at, especially when they got a Johnny to like be completed. You
Fair
know,
enough.
like the way I see it, and that's just like me, right? That's like an opinion thing more than anything. Is that like it's like the time for these characters is up, and I think it's very much like a very good time to just kind of start something new. You know, like you had the saga of Urza back in the day, and when you moved into a new era of Magic, it was the Gatewatch, and then you moved into a new like they took down the big villain Nicole Bolas after like more than like a decade. So yeah, I don't know. I just think it's time, and I think it's done with great timing for it to be like I don't feel so good, Mister Stark of the Magic community.
Yeah. Well, next cards. Necrogen, not Rot Priest, for a 2 black green for a 1/5 with Toxic 2. It's a creature Phyrexian zombie cleric, and its ability is whenever a creature you control with Toxic deals combat damage to a player, that player gets an additional poison counter. You can pay 1 black and a green to target creature you control with Toxic gains Death Touch until end of turn.
So we can agree that for all intents and purposes, this guy is a 3/5.
No.
Not for damage against creatures, but when he smacks somebody's face, this guy is essentially a 3/5.
You deal 1 damage and they get 2 poison counters.
Yes, but you put an additional poison counter because of his effect, no?
Yes, but then that would just give him Toxic 3.
Yeah, it's still 3 poison counters out of
Yeah, but
10
it's not a
on a
3/5.
1/5
It's still a
zombie.
1/5.
Yeah,
If I give it -1, it deals 0 damage and I get no Toxic, no poison.
good point. Good point.
Anywho,
But that's a good buddy.
Bladed Ambassador, 1 and a white for a Phyrexian soldier, 3/1. Bladed Ambassador enters the battlefield with an oil counter on it. Pay 1 and remove an oil counter from Bladed Ambassador. Bladed Ambassador gains Indestructible until end of turn. This is your 2 mana 3/1 with Indestructible. That for mono white aggro, which is I'm pretty sure we were missing one for a while. This is the type of staple effect that gets reprinted every now and again for aggressive white decks. I remember the best one being Adanto Vanguard, when you could just pay life to make him indestructible.
Yeah.
So, next card. Urabrask's Anointer, 3 and a red for a 4/2. Artifact creature Phyrexian Wizard. When Urabrask's Anointer enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of permanents you control with oil counters on them. And okay, decent. This next card is strong though. Blight Belly Rat, 1 and a black for a 2/2 creature Phyrexian rat. It has Toxic 1, and when it dies, proliferate. So imagine you play this on turn 2, and turn 3 you play the Rat King. You attack, and they get 2. You attack, you hit, they get 2 counters, and then when this dies, you
It's 2 on
proliferate,
1.
so they get 3. That's a clock.
Yep.
And next card, Bone Picker Scourge. 2 and a black for a 2/2 creature, Phyrexian imp, flying, and we see the keyword corrupted again. As long as an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, Bone Picker Scourge has Death Touch and Lifelink. Very reminiscent of Vault Scourge, used in Affinity. The 1 Phyrexian and Phyrexian mana for the 1/1 with flying and Lifelink.
I mean, just relevant like mono black stuff, like mono black aggro is really fun.
So, Rustvine Cultivator, creature Phyrexian Elf Druid. You can put an oil counter on, tap him to put a oil counter on Rustvine Cultivator, and tap him to remove a rust counter from Rustvine Cultivator and untap target land. And it's a 1/2. This says it's a 1 mana. Yeah, it's 1 mana. This is interesting, actually.
Yeah.
You get an additional mana every 2 turns. It's not bad. It's not horrible.
I mean, it depends on its mana cost, I'd say. If it just comes down to
1
1,
mana.
I guess it's not horrible. Okay.
It's not one. It's 1 mana. Yeah.
All right. I just can't see like the thing. With the glare.
Yeah. The reflection is really. All I see is 1 mana, 1 green mana. And then the last card of the day, because we already talked about the Rat King.
It's the canker.
Canker Bloom, 1 and a green for a 3/2 creature, Phyrexian fungus, and you pay 1 mana and sacrifice Canker Bloom. Choose 1. Destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or proliferate. This is power creep, by the way. This is power creep as shit. Last effect we have had of that is the Thrashing Brontodon, which is a 1 green for a 3/4. And you can pay 1 mana to sacrifice it and destroy an artifact or enchantment. This is 2 mana for a 3/2, plus 1 less mana for the same amount of power, which is what you really care about anyways. The 4 toughness on the Thrashing Brontodon was relevant for like going against other aggressive decks, but this is 1 less mana for a 3/2, so equally if not more aggressive, with the same ability, and even more because you get to proliferate.
Mm-hmm. I think this is also great utility for Super Friends decks. With just having that proliferate on you, just can help you like ult a turn earlier, and it can also just has that, the extra utility of being able to just blow something up, especially tough stuff. People that are trying to combo off with top, Bola Citadel. I don't know, just a bunch of relevant cards that are just like that involve an artifact in that win con. You got something here that can just at least deter them for an extra turn or something.
Yeah. So that's all we have for today. We went through Yu-Gi-Oh! 25th anniversary and how it's better than Magic's 30th anniversary, and how that all culminated with Trump's NFTs.
Yeah.
We got some Magic and we got some new Magic cards.
Cards with pretty outs.
So, Chris, where can the people find you?
Well, you can find me here. Our Birthday Podcast. You can find me on our social media. You can interact with all of us at any time. You can go ahead and shoot us a message so we can have you here for Commander Nights. That'd be great to have some of our viewers here with us, or some of our listeners as well. And you can sometimes find me on my Twitch. I'm just planning on doing more fun things there, hopefully with the start of the new year. And JP, where can the people find you?
You can find me here in the Cardboard Cave Podcast. You can find us in any of the podcast platforms. You can find us on YouTube, Twitch, sometimes on Facebook. You can find us in our Facebook page. We're pretty active there. But most importantly, when we kind of we almost forgot. You can find us with our affiliate link at Ultra Sleeves. Again, if you want to pimp out your deck, you can just go through Ultra Sleeves, use our affiliate link. The link should be down below, and you know, just pimp out your deck. It's the holiday season. You can get any of of your decks to look all nice.
There we go. There we go. Ultra sleeves. Another thing I love to mention is our merch store. Actually, John over here is making these amazing shirts. Remember, you can get your Only Land shirts. You can get revolutionizing your mulligan. We also have a bunch of other things, like don't feed the fish and all those classic phrases that just let players know what they have to do with the table of commander, so that everyone, you don't end the game in like a turn and a half.
So, anyways, that's been all for today. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.
See you guys. Let's go.